I'm Carlin Christensen. I am running for City Council. I am already an incumbent City Council person, so I know a great number of you already. I've been on the council for 5 years. I was elected in a special election in 2013 to replace Mr. Carter, who had to get a job outside of being on the council. And then I ran for another full term in 2014, and I'm running for my second full term now. Because we are at a chamber event, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my history via the chamber. I started off coming to town about 30 years ago with my young family. I got involved in a lot of nonprofit volunteer activities because I'm a big believer in community service. At some point, I went through my employer, Planned Parenthood, paid for my my leadership class 4, and during that class, Mr. Garth started talking about the idea of walking the walk, not just talking the talk. So I went and ran for a chamber board, and I don't think I won that time, but I was appointed by Mr. Yunke. And then I served on the board for a while, and I began to talk about housing because I was having trouble hiring folks for where I worked, and housing was the big issue. This was something kind of new to the chamber, and I ended up writing the first white paper. At some point, Mr. Garth again spoke up and said, hey, there's openings on the Planning Commission. So I applied for the City Planning Commission. I served there for 6 years. Then I was appointed to the County Planning Commission, served there for over 5 years, then ran for City Council. So my issues have been housing, and housing. And my issues have been transportation, fiscal responsibility. Those things go together with housing. And now climate action and the environment all along. I've been one of the first people who talked about the fact that in order to have a healthy economic vitality here in San Luis Obispo, we have to have a healthy environment. And I continue on those for the city's goals and for myself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Flickinger, and I'm also running for City Council, obviously in November. I am a lifelong local to the area. I grew up in Los Osos before moving into town in 1998 to attend Cal Poly. I do have a degree in journalism from Cal Poly and started my career here in San Luis Obispo with a large local public relations firm. And like many people in my generation, I took a non-traditional route with my career after that. I actually had a great conversation with Dave Garth early in my career, and I said, how do people manage to survive here? How do they make it? And he said, well, sometimes you have to get creative. And so I went into the wine industry locally. I helped promote Paso Robles Wine Country as they transitioned from being a Vintners and Growers Association to being a nationwide marketing powerhouse, developing markets across the country. And then I went into technology for a brief stint and then came back over to the wine industry and helped launch a magazine for the Central Coast, that was tourist-facing and brought people up out of Southern California to the Central Coast wine regions, ranging from the Monterey County line all the way down through Malibu. Occasionally I had to go out to Temecula because they really did not like getting left out of the publication. So I'm very familiar with the chamber. I participated on chamber committees many, many years ago, although my career path took me to a larger realm thereafter and spent a lot of time in vintners and growers associations and working with visitors and conference bureaus to encourage tourism and economic development from that front. I've been engaged in city happenings here in the city for many years, providing public comments. I was part of the Fish Commish when the giant fish were around downtown doing a fundraiser. And then I've also been involved in 3 prominent CEQA challenges. After becoming a stay-at-home mom, I became an advocate both for my own neighborhood as well as for different organizations in the community, including advocating for cycling, as well as advocating for accessibility for people with disabilities. And through those CEQA challenges, I got to have an understanding and work with the negotiation process to come to consensus on things. And so I bring a young perspective that offers moving toward bringing people together. Thank you.
My name is Abe Lincoln. I too am a Cal Poly graduate. I graduated from the business school in 1992. Since I'm talking to the business community, I'll give you a little bit of my background. I first worked for household finance, and then I moved on to Transamerica. I've worked for Microsoft and GE. So a large portion of my career has been with big corporations in many locations across the country. I've been a chief financial officer for an aviation company, a smaller one, around $12 million revenue, and a chief operating officer for a hospitals company. It took me about 25 years to make it back to this little piece of paradise until I figured out how to make it stick. So I've been back for about 2.5 years. I moved back to Los Osos. And when I got here, I decided that I'd use my experience and my business school skills in nonprofit ways, in volunteer ways. I volunteered for Pacific Wildlife Care and RISE. And then I took on the role, I am currently the executive director for the SLO Foundation. So the SLO Foundation, also a member here of the Chamber, provides free health care in this county to people without insurance. The motivation and reward of doing those things really led me to run for city council. I believe in health care for all. I believe that this is a place that it's achievable, that these kinds of changes are changes that start here. I believe that the prevention of sexual violence is incredibly important and something that needs to be taken very seriously. I believe that immigration reform, I believe in diversity. I have 15 seconds left. I think those are all the basis for a really good, solid, strong community. I think that San Luis Obispo is a special place, and it can lead on really big issues. And thank you for your time. I look forward to talking to you.
Hello, I'm James Lopes. I've been a resident here since 1976. Some of you have seen me before at council meetings or planning commission meetings. I've been kind of an activist through my time here. And I wouldn't say that that's just because I'm against business, but because I'm for quality neighborhoods and a quality city. I went to UC Santa Barbara in the 60s, so I survived not only the 60s, but UC Santa Barbara. And I got here after trying teaching for a while. And the planning job I got at the county got me into community planning. And eventually I got a master's in that at Cal Poly in 1995. So in those decades, I worked on community plans and what's called design plans with communities outside the city and around the county. So I've become a retired community planner. And with that, I am very interested in how the city grows and how we develop our business environment in tune with our neighborhoods and with hospitable and pleasant downtown. I'd like to balance job growth and provide more affordable housing in places that don't interrupt or intrude on neighborhoods. And I'd like to see the city work on a housing program that involves more of a team effort so that commercial areas and shopping centers can be developed into vibrant, mixed-use neighborhoods. You probably have heard of repurposing shopping centers. That's a trend nationwide. There's dozens of places, and I would recommend that the city look into partnerships and financial partnerships that develop with shopping center owners to become, again, mixed-use shopping environments. I would just end saying that it's been a challenge getting my campaign going. This weekend is my kickoff, and I hope to hear from you over the next few weeks. Thank you.
My name is Jeffery Specht. I'm 54 years old and a lifetime resident of San Luis Obispo. I'd like to start by thanking all of you today for coming. These are incredibly important elections coming up here. Folks, I'm really concerned with the direction that our city has taken. I've hiked every one of these hills around here. I went to high school, elementary, and junior high here. I swam in Laguna Lake, believe it or not. When I was a child, you could actually see the bottom of that lake. Fed the ducks there, fished. Really wonderful asset to our city that has really been neglected. I personally would like to see the city council and the mayor actually give direction to staff. It is my belief that for years The staff is the one giving direction. We need to change this. We have a CalPERS program that's bankrupting all of California and my hometown here, San Luis Obispo. We need to rehabilitate this system and pay it down before it's too late. I want to be the voice for the people. That's what really matters here, folks. It isn't been taking place. The will of the people has not been served, and the voice of the people has not been heard. I, if elected, I will fight for your will being served. I'll fight for your voice being heard. It's what's truly important. We work for you, not the opposite. And things need to change here. This is what I want to bring to the table. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erica A. Stewart, and this is kind of like having a meeting in my living room because I feel like I know so many of you. Thank you for coming. I have been involved in the chamber pretty close to when I returned to San Luis Obispo. I came to San Luis Obispo in 1990, and I went to school there, and now I am the president of the Cal Poly Alumni Association, so kind of come full circle with our 190,000 alumni. When I first started getting involved in the chamber, I had opened my own bakery, and I wanted to know how in the world to get the information out that you should come eat my tasty food. And I was on the SLO Chamber ambassadors, and thought I'd start to get my word out. And we came and brought my stuff to the board of directors for the chamber, and it just kind of spawned getting more and more involved. I ended up being in leadership SLO, class 15. And then later the chair of class 19, and I feel like I went through class 25 with my husband, but anyway. So my point being that I really enjoyed getting to know about our entire county and how we have to continue to work regionally just as much in the city of San Luis Obispo. So as far as issues go, I really feel that it's important for affordable housing to be a little bit more involved in our community. I think that's going to be done through more infill, and I think it's going to be done by having more individuals in their neighborhoods involved earlier in the process. And that is something that I think is just missing a little bit from what we do now. We do a lot of outreach, and I know that when I say we need more involvement, I can imagine Carla and everyone else probably cringing because they do so much, but we just need to tweak it just a little bit. Also, I really think that transportation needs to be increased. Our buses are great, and Cal Poly gives some money for the buses, which is also good, but we don't have enough to actually get around town in a useful manner. It takes about an hour and 15 to get from my house over to Vivo Condos to Cal Poly or to San Luis High. That just doesn't really make sense. So I think we need to look at a lot of different options, and I'm running out of town, so I'll wrap it up. But I also think that just like we're starting to include sustainability in everything we do, we also need to think about diversity in that same way and not just have a committee on diversity.
Well, hello, good afternoon. Thanks for coming and checking out what we have to say. My name is Bob Voglin. I moved here 27 years ago with my family and 2 boys. My sons went through the school here, and it's a wonderful place to live. Basically, I was brought up in Southern California. I was fortunate enough to live in the Pacific Palisades where I could skateboard down to the beach, and that started my wonderful life in the surfing world. I've been very involved in the surfing world for all my life and still do that, and surfing has run through my life forever. One of the big things I think I found about that was it really helped me dealing with challenges through my life. My biggest challenge was 15 years ago when I had cancer. Surfing played a big part for me to help me emotionally, physically, and mentally get through those challenges. I have a strong faith. I have a wonderful family, which also helped. And during that time, we were kind of alone in the woods with my wife and I dealing with the cancer situation. So I was really pleased that the Cancer Resource Center came into effect. And when I was fortunate enough to get through my cancer struggle, I felt a strong need to get involved in my community. So I got involved and did a lot of volunteer work with the Hearst Cancer Resource Center, Cancer Connection Group. And with that, I also came up with an idea to start a foundation called Surfing for Hope. Surfing for Hope is an organization that helps people going through cancer. We raise money for all the free cancer resource centers in this town. And so it means a lot to me. So why is that important, or what can a surfer do to help on city council? I think I can bring my passion, my positive energy, and I feel I'm good working with people, and I can come to the right conclusion for a lot of the different challenges we have. I also feel I'm in a unique position. I have friends in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s that I relate to, and they relate to me. And I can bring that to the council so we can help some of the challenges with me and you and them and us, so we can come to really get to the situation at hand is making this town a better town. Thank you.